Oh, you're back for more, are you? Well, let me ask you a question as you are here. How many format choices does your camera have? Actually, no, don't tell me. Let me guess. You'll have 3x2, that's probably your default. Then you'll have 1x1 square. You might have 4x3, well, you will if you're an Olympus user. And if you're lucky, you might also have 5x4. But there's one other one, isn't there? 16x9. Odd one this, but in a way, one that is familiar in other tech. So in this video, I want to talk about this semi-panoramic format size and why I'm embracing it this year, and therefore, maybe you should too. So I think this format is more common for watching videos in than caption stills. All these YouTube videos and most TV programs are filmed in 16:9 format, so your TV itself has a 16:9 dimension screen too. And many films are also presented this way, though most big blockbuster films are even wider, often a 2.35:1 format. But as well as this, no doubt to suit movie watching on the go, our mobile phone screens often conform to the 16:9 frame, and therefore, unless you change it in the settings, your phone camera may shoot 16:9 images too. Now, unless you want to follow the advice offered in this video and use your phone to take pictures in this format, then I would reset this to 4x3. It's standard in the settings, as it's just cropping the default image down to suit that screen size. And of course, 16:9 in our mirrorless cameras is just cropping the image down from your standard 3x2 full frame capture. But I bet this is one option you rarely choose. You may have selected it once or twice maybe, to be a bit more adventurous with your photography. Or you may in fact often choose the format. And if that is you, I put this question to you. Are you actually using it to its full potential? Now firstly, a rant to the camera makers. Why 16:9? Why that format? Why not 2x1 or 3x1? Proper panoramic formats. Why not X-Pan format? Why this odd neither one or the other format that's more suited to video? Well, why not both? Why not 16:9 and a proper panoramic? If you can do one, why not just give us others too? Give us a proper panoramic so we don't have to stitch multiple images together and therefore dump this stupid 16:9 option altogether. Hey, how about that? Stupid 16:9 option. Such a useless format. I don't know why I'm talking about it really. About as useful as a chocolate kettle. Actually, I'd love a chocolate kettle. All that melted chocolate. So, as well as 3x2, as well as square, as well as 4x3, we often get 16:9 on our cameras. And I, for one, am embracing this format into my work. I can see the advantage. I'm appreciating the format. I'm realising it's often just the right one for my images and results. 3x2 is a good format for your typical landscape image. Horizontally, it works well. Not just landscapes, of course, but most horizontal scenes in general. It scans well and is a natural way to present many scenes. But what if we want to go wider? Well, that's exactly where the 16:9 format comes into its own. It effectively crops the standard 3x2 and loses some from the top and the bottom of the frame. This may be where the distractions are, so now your main subject becomes more defined. It loses the world above and below and concentrates the focus on the centre of the frame, and you can recompose to allow for this, and it makes a difference. But simply cropping a 3x2 in post is not really the same. You have to see and compose in this new letterbox format to get the best from it. So if you're the type of person who is simply using this frame size option to compose landscape views without enough thought, then you may actually be weakening your results rather than improving them. It's a longer format that suits horizontal views, of course, but you have to approach that with care. Too many horizontal lines within this frame can be detrimental to the end result then. Therefore, for example, it's a format that works great in woodlands with trees as subjects. These aren't horizontal, no, they're vertical, and therefore they're vertical subjects in a long horizontal frame, creating an opposite then. This creates tension then and makes your compositions more dynamic. Horizontals in a horizontal frame can be rather dull and static looking. You also need to consider how the frame will be scanned. Will it be seen from left to right or right to left? It takes longer for the viewer to do this, so you need to compose with this in mind too. If it's a scene more about shape, then you need to consider that too, and the position of those shapes around the frame. Vertical on the left, diagonal shape on the right maybe. Does that work? Every new format option on your camera that you choose takes time to get used to. If you can practice and start seeing the world naturally this way, without a camera to hand, when just out and about, then it starts becoming second nature. Now, if you struggle with vertical compositions in general in the default 3x2 format, then you're in for a challenge with 16:9. Vertical images can be more difficult to compose than horizontals, and indeed, I often think the standard 3x2 format is too long for vertical shots. Therefore, I often crop these down to 4x3 to remove the excess, the distractions, and make it easier for the viewer to scan the frame and scene. Shooting 16:9 vertically takes things further then. It's adding more, much more, but maybe when you get past that awkward 3x2 format shape, it becomes easier. Again, forget straight vertical lines, that's never going to work. But diagonals, now they do work, or any scene where you can include lots of foreground. You can still use techniques such as the rule of thirds in this format, and I encourage you to do so, as it helps you divide the frame with intention. What the 16:9 format really does is introduce you to panoramic, true panoramic, the 3x1 format. It guides you in and helps you understand how to compose with this full letterbox format. When camera makers finally give in and offer us full options with regard to format choices, you'll be ready. And yes, there are some cameras that do offer this full panoramic frame, but it's mainly very high megapixel options. Camera makers don't seem to want us to crop smaller file sizes. Like I said, let us decide that. So I urge you to give this format a try, as it's a lot of fun. But if you need more assistance, more help understanding this format, then I have a brand new workshop for you, 16:9 in London. The urban environment is an ideal place to use this format, so spend a day with me getting to know this format even more, shooting with my assistants. We start with this format, but then explore the wider options too, and I give you tips on how to achieve that. See my website for more details, and in the meantime, remember, 16:9.